I never thought I'd be the guy sitting here, writing this down, but here we are. My name's Mike, and I'm still trying to figure out how everything fell apart so damn fast. My wife Lisa and I had a pretty normal life, well, as normal as it gets. We met in college, got married after a few years, and for most of it I thought we were solid. But I guess I was wrong. Things started to feel off about 3 months ago. Lisa became more distant, short with me, and she was spending a lot more time on her phone. At first, I thought she was just stressed from work. She has a pretty demanding job in marketing, and I was going through a rough patch myself. I just lost my job, actually. Out of nowhere, I got laid off from this marketing firm I'd been with for nearly 5 years. The timing sucked, especially since I'd been feeling pretty down about my career prospects even before that. So I figured maybe Lisa was just overwhelmed, or maybe she was bored of me complaining all the time. But then, I started noticing things that didn't add up, like her phone would buzz at odd hours and she'd quickly hide it or put it face down. She'd be on Facebook or some dating app or something, I thought, but I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Still, I kept an eye on her just in case. She started canceling plans with friends, saying she was too busy or not feeling well, which was weird because she was always a social person. She'd snap at me for asking questions, call me paranoid, and say I was overthinking everything. One night I came home early from a coffee shop where I was trying to drown my frustrations. I was exhausted, physically and emotionally, and I just wanted to relax. As I pulled into the driveway, I saw her car parked oddly. Normally, she'd leave it in the garage, but this time it was parked out front, and the door was slightly ajar. My heart started pounding. I got out and looked inside through the window and saw her sitting on the couch with someone I didn't recognize. He was tall, good-looking, and they looked like they were, I don't know, having sex. I couldn't see everything clearly, but the way they were pressed together, it was obvious. My stomach dropped. I froze there, watching. I debated whether I should go in or just leave. Part of me wanted to confront her immediately, but I was just stunned. I didn't even knock when I finally decided to go inside. When I opened the door, she looked up, startled. She froze, then quickly reached for her phone and tried to hide it behind her back. The guy looked nervous, like I'd caught him in a crime. Lisa's face turned into this angry mask. She started saying all kinds of crazy shit, like I'd misunderstood, that it was just sex, that I was overreacting because I was jealous or insecure. She lied so smoothly, like she'd rehearsed it 100 times, but I knew better. I saw the telltale signs, her flushed face, her hurried movements, the way she avoided eye contact. I felt this mix of rage and heartbreak rising up so fast I could barely breathe. I wanted to punch something, scream at her, but I just stood there, stunned, trying to process how the woman I trusted with my life could do something so shitty right after I lost my job. It was like she was waiting for the right moment to blow everything up, and I was just too blind to see it. That night I didn't sleep. I kept replaying everything in my head, her lies, the secret meetings, the way she looked at that guy like he was her world now. I felt betrayed, not just by her cheating, by the fact that she'd been planning this for months, probably, while I was barely holding it together. I kept asking myself, how do you even begin to trust anyone again after something like this? How do you pick up the pieces when everything you thought was real just turned out to be a complete lie? I don't have the answers yet, but I know one thing: this isn't over. Not by a long shot. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I'd been hit by a semi. My mind was racing, replaying everything from last night. I kept going over the details, trying to find some kind of explanation that would make sense. But honestly, there wasn't any. Lisa's lies kept echoing in my head. How she said it was just sex, that I was imagining things, that I was overreacting. The way she looked at me with those cold, defensive eyes, I knew she'd been lying. She always lied, but this was a whole new level. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but I also couldn't ignore what I'd seen. I decided to play it cool, at least for a little while. I needed more proof, something concrete. So I took a deep breath, forced myself to act normal, and went about my day. But inside, I was boiling. Every little thing Lisa said or did felt like a lie. Her excuses about being busy, her texts that suddenly seemed suspicious, nothing added up anymore. A few hours later, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was a photo, one that made my stomach churn. It was Lisa in a restaurant with the same guy I saw her with last night. They looked cozy, like they'd been dating for months. The text said, "Sorry I couldn't tell you earlier. It's been going on for a while. Hope you understand." That's when I realized she'd been planning this probably for a long time, while I was sitting at home feeling sorry for myself. That's when I knew I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I decided to confront her again, face to face this time. I told her I knew everything, that I had proof, and I wasn't going to let her lie her way out of it anymore. Her face twisted into that bitchy sneer she always used when she was trying to manipulate someone. She started crying, saying she loved me, that it was a mistake, that she was sorry, but she couldn't deny the truth when I had the photos. She kept lying, saying she was just drunk that night or that the guy was just a friend, even though I knew better. I was furious. How could she lie so easily? Like she didn't even care that I was hurting, that I just lost my job, my sense of stability. I felt like my world was crumbling. The woman I married, the woman I trusted with everything, was out there betraying me behind my back, cheating, lying, playing me like a damn fool. And the worst part, she was so bitchy about it, acting like I was the problem, like I was overreacting or being paranoid. That really pushed me over the edge. I wanted to shake her and ask how she could be so callous, so indifferent to the pain she was causing. But I just stood there seething, knowing that I needed to figure out what I was going to do next. Deep down, I knew I couldn't fix this. Not with her, not anymore. The trust was gone, shattered into pieces, and I was left with nothing but a hollow feeling in my chest. I kept thinking about everything I'd given her, my time, my love, my loyalty, and how she threw it all away so effortlessly. I'd been blind, but now I saw her true face. That's the part that hurts the most, realizing she never loved me the way I thought she did. She loved the thrill, the secret, the power of betraying me. And now I had to figure out how to pick myself up from this mess. After I saw those pictures, everything changed. I felt like my entire world had flipped upside down. I was angry, hurt, and honestly pretty lost. I didn't want to just walk out and leave her, at least not yet. I needed to see how deep this betrayal went. So I started digging, asking questions, looking for more evidence. I wasn't going to let her get away with this without paying some kind of price. Over the next few days, I noticed more things that confirmed what I already suspected. Her phone history, her secret messages, late-night calls she tried to hide. I found out she'd been sneaking around with this guy, probably for months, while I was busy feeling sorry for myself. And the worst part, she had the nerve to act like it was nothing, like I was the crazy one for suspecting. She called me paranoid, said I was insecure. That really set me off. How could she be so bitchy and dismissive when she was the one screwing around behind my back? One night I decided enough was enough. I confronted her again, this time with everything I'd gathered. I laid out the proof, screenshots, photos, everything. I asked her straight up, "Are you cheating on me? Are you messing around with my best friend?" She looked at me, eyes cold and defiant, and said, "You're overreacting, Mike. You always make everything into a big deal. I didn't mean for this to happen, but it's not what you think." She lied again, of course. She sat there and spun this ridiculous story about how it was just sex, that it meant nothing, that she was just trying to feel alive again. That's when I felt something snap inside me. I was furious but also heartbroken. How could she be so callous? How could she say it didn't mean anything when she was practically throwing herself at him? And my best friend, for God's sake, was in on it. I knew they'd been planning this, whispering behind my back, probably laughing at how gullible I'd been. I could see the sneer on her face when she lied, and I knew that she'd been cheating long before I lost my job. It was like every piece of the puzzle was falling into place, and I was just starting to see the full picture of how much she'd betrayed me. The emotional roller coaster hit hard. I felt tears, then rage, and then a numbness that was worse than any feeling I'd known. I was devastated but also furious, furious at her, furious at my best friend, furious at myself for trusting them. I kept asking myself how I could have been so blind. How did I not see the signs? How did I not realize they'd been planning this entire time? The trust I'd built over years was destroyed in a matter of days. I started questioning everything. my judgment, my choices, my worth. How do you even begin to rebuild your life after something so brutal? I knew I had to decide what to do next. I couldn't stay with someone who lied and cheated so easily, someone who didn't respect the vows we took. The thought of trying to fix this, of forgiving her or somehow moving past it, felt impossible. I've always believed in loyalty, in honesty and respect, things she clearly threw out the window. But I also knew, deep down, I deserved better. I deserved someone who wouldn't betray me, who wouldn't lie and call me paranoid when I was just trying to see the truth. The pain is still raw, but I think I'm starting to accept that I need to walk away from this disaster. I need a fresh start, even if it hurts like hell. The decision didn't come easy, but after all the lies, the betrayal, and the heartbreak, I knew I couldn't stay. I wasn't going to be that guy who sticks around hoping she'll change or that somehow it'll all go back to normal. Normal was gone the moment I saw her with that guy, the moment I realized how little she cared about what we had. I sat her down one last time, told her I knew everything and that I was done, that I couldn't be with someone who lied so easily and who had been secretly planning to break us apart for months. She argued, of course. That bitchy attitude came right back. Said I was overreacting, that she loved me, that it was just sex, that I was insecure. I looked her straight in the eyes and told her I didn't want her apologies or her lies. I wanted her out of my house. I told her I didn't want to see her face again until she figured out what respect really meant. She tried to manipulate me, tossed in crocodile tears, claiming she'd changed, that it was a mistake, that she was sorry she hurt me. But I'd heard enough. I wasn't falling for it. The next few days were a blur. I packed her bags while she sat on the couch, still trying to spin her lies. I couldn't stand to look at her anymore, not without feeling this burning rage. I told her to get out, and she finally did, slamming the door behind her like she didn't care. Honestly, I felt numb, like I'd lost a part of myself I'd never get back. My trust was shattered, and I wondered if I'd ever be able to open up to anyone again. That's the thing about betrayal. You think you know someone, and then suddenly, everything is a lie. In the days that followed, I started to reflect on everything, what I learned from all this. How naive I'd been to think that a person's actions could be hidden forever. How much I'd been blindsided by her bitchy attitude, her lies, her manipulations. I kept asking myself why she did it, why she betrayed me after everything, especially when I was at my lowest. Was it just the thrill, the excitement of sneaking around, or was she really just that selfish? Honestly, I don't have the answers yet. All I know is that I need to rebuild my life from scratch. I also reached out to some friends, trying to make sense of it all. They told me to focus on myself, to not let this define me, but it's hard. Trusting again feels like trying to rebuild a shattered mirror. Every crack reminds me of what I lost. Still, I know I have to start somewhere. I have to learn to trust myself again, to believe that I deserve better. I don't know how long it will take, but I'm determined not to let her or my ex-best friend continue to control my emotions. They took enough from me already. Now, it's time to take my life back. The aftermath has been a mix of relief and chaos. I moved out, found a small apartment, and tried to piece my life back together. It's been about a month since she left, and honestly, some days are better than others. I still wake up feeling angry, betrayed, and sometimes even stupid for trusting her so much in the first place. But I also feel a certain relief, like I finally exhaled after holding my breath for too long. The hardest thing has been figuring out how to trust again. Not just in women, but in people. I used to think I had a pretty good read on who was genuine, but now I feel like that's been shattered too. It's ironic. After she cheated, I found out that my best friend Tom had been in on it. They'd been planning this for months, probably laughing behind my back while I was trying to hold everything together. That betrayal hurts even more because I thought Tom was my brother, someone I'd trusted with everything. Turns out, he was just a wolf in sheep's clothing. That realization made me question everything I thought I knew about loyalty. I cut off contact with both of them. No calls, no texts. I needed the space to process. I kept telling myself I deserved better, that I was better off without these two in my life. But deep down, I wonder if I should have fought harder, tried to save what was left. Or maybe I was just fooling myself that I could fix this mess. I keep hearing about forgiveness and moving on, But honestly, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I just know I need to rebuild my sense of self, step by step, day by day. I've started therapy. It's been rough, honestly, talking about everything, her lies, the betrayal, the feeling of being completely blindsided brings tears sometimes. But it's also helping me see that I'm not to blame, that I didn't deserve any of this, that I was just a guy trying to do his best and instead I got pushed aside like I was nothing. I've learned that trust is fragile and once broken, it's almost impossible to repair. But I also know that I can recover, that I can find happiness again, maybe even with someone new someday. It's just hard to see past the pain right now. The thing I keep telling myself is this: I'm not alone in this. Plenty of people go through heartbreak and betrayal and they come out stronger on the other side. I don't feel very strong right now, but I know I will. It's going to take time and I have to be patient. I've lost a lot, but I also gained clarity. I know now what I won't tolerate, what I need from someone who truly cares. Most of all, I've learned that I need to trust myself first. That's the only way I'll be able to truly heal. And maybe someday I'll even be able to forgive her, though I doubt I'll ever forget. Looking back, I realize this whole experience has changed me, fundamentally, maybe forever. I used to believe in fairy tales and the idea that if you loved someone enough, they'd never betray you. But now I see that trust is fragile, and some people will cheat and lie just because they can. It's a hard lesson, but one I had to learn the hard way. I've been broken, yeah, but I also feel like I've started to rebuild myself from the ground up. The biggest thing I've taken away from all this is that I don't owe her or Tom anything anymore. They took so much from me, my peace, my faith in people, and I refuse to let them keep hurting me. I've learned that I have to prioritize myself first. My happiness, my self-respect, my boundaries. That's the only way I'll ever truly move on. That doesn't mean I'll forget what happened, but I will learn to live with it, to accept that some things are beyond repair, and that's okay. I've also come to understand that forgiveness isn't some magic cure-all. Sometimes, it's just about accepting what has happened and choosing not to let it destroy you. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting closer. What matters is that I'm determined to find my way out of this darkness, even if it's a slow process. There's no quick fix for betrayal like this. It leaves scars, and they're going to stay for a while. But scars also heal with time, and I believe I'll be stronger because of it. Most importantly, I've realized that trusting again doesn't mean blindly giving your heart away. It means being cautious, learning from your mistakes, and understanding that not everyone has good intentions. I can't control what others do, but I can control how I respond. I can choose to be better, to be wiser, and to never let someone's betrayal define me. Because I am more than the pain she caused me. I am still here, still fighting to find happiness and trust again. So that's where I am now, standing in the aftermath, holding what's left of myself together. I don't have all the answers, and maybe I never will, but I know I'm finally starting to see the light at the end of this dark tunnel. And for the first time in a while, I believe I'll be okay.